Sheesh, those guys at Bandai know how to get my money. So again, we got another 30 minutes missions. We got this thing, it's 144 scale, came out 2019 maybe, and this is also 2021. I'm sure they've released it a few times. It's number 38 in the overall lineup of 30 minutes missions, called Spinatia Fencer Type. Okay, it's been taped together. Some action shots. Looks like a cat, kind of like a cat woman, but then you got this armor and it totally transforms the look to something else. All right, let me get a knife then. Pink color. It's like a purple, white, pink, black, and white. Alright. So if you want to pause the video, you can read a little bit about this thing, Spinatio. It's a male one, Spinatia, I think it's a female one. And then here, okay, and then a little story about what's going on there. Here's some factions, I guess. 3 factions. And here it is with some option parts. Look at that, that looks sick. Alright, well, you don't need glue or anything like that. You just need to get some clippers and be able to look at shapes and arrows, and you can put these together pretty quick, actually. After you build a few, you can probably actually put it together within 30 minutes. But really, like all model kits, if you want them to look nice, you want to paint them. But I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to come back after I put this together. Alright, here we are with the base body, and I'll just do articulation here because it's just easier. This thing can look very far back. almost like it's flying, right? So that's impressive. It's because the neck has articulating on that C-clip there, and the forward is pretty good too. And then the top is a ball peg, so you can, get all sorts of movement there. These are the extended shoulders. You can see the armor's going to clip on right there, but if you don't want to use the shoulder pads, you can put on the non-extended things. So you can see the difference there. It doesn't have that extra bit. But this is a ball joint here, so you can rotate it and get a butterfly up and down, right? And then this is a hinge, and it goes up. And then there's a post here, so you can rotate around that. And then there's a single hinge here for the arm, and it's much greater than 90 degrees for the bend. And all the hands have ball pegs on them. But there's only one set of back plates, so even though you have these 3 extra hands, 2 wavy hands, and a special right hand with a bent peg for like long guns and bazookas, you gotta swap out the back plate. It's kind of annoying. Here we have a ball poly cap there, and so you can get a decent amount of front crunch, back crunch as well. And then this is a hinge right here in the middle where I'm touching, so you can get crazy, crazy side to side action there. Yeah, it's really, really weird, but cool. The bottom also has a poly cap, but seeing how it's a flat surface touching another flat surface, you can only get a few degrees, of rocking out of that, but it's mostly a rotation thing. Typical hip joints here, we have this drop down. You can swing it forward. Alright, so you can have different hip placements for much more dynamic posing, right? And so this ball kind of hinge looking thing, it rotates on that, and then the hinge itself sends the legs outwards, so you can definitely get the splits out of this, even a negative split. It's very limber, of course, so like a Catwoman again. So you can see the poly cap though, it falls out pretty easily. Not a fan of that. Alright, so the knee is a double hinge, and it can definitely kick itself in the butt. So very slender legs. So at the bottom of this, we have a C-clip for the ankle, and it only moves front and back. But at the bottom of the thing, there's a poly cap. No, it's not a poly cap, just a ball peg. And so that's what gives you the rocker angle side to side, these high heels. So you can get some great posing because there's a lot of movement, almost 90 degrees. I do wonder if this is going to fall out anytime soon. There's only one peg holding in place. It might be advisable to actually glue this black piece to the white piece. Alright, so that's it in its basic form. We don't have any guns, but we do have these 2 swords. And so they're long swords for sure. Obviously it can carry the swords. And then there's a peg on one side of the sword. So you can peg that, for storage or whatnot. Granted, the head, you got to move that forward, right? Okay. So that's it for those weapons. Now let's start putting on some pieces here. So I like the Catwoman look, but if you want, you can mask it off with this thing. And it's got 3 mating shapes there, rectangles I guess. And now it's totally different looking. It almost looks like a Medusa or something like that. Yeah, I use this little nano file to clean up the nubs. Yeah, okay. So the chest piece, which is that one? I know this is the crotch piece. It does limit the leg movement a little bit, but not much because it's a V shape. And I should clean that up later. Boy, hold on. This is the butt plate. This is the backpack. So it's just one hole in the back, but once you put this on, you got your standard 2 holes for it to put on backpacks from other robots or whatever, and it still retains the one single one as well. Okay, so this must be the chest piece. It's the last one. Go down. It is supposed to be in the down position, but I don't see why you can't try the up position if you want to impale your head. Yeah, I think it does look better with the down position. Okay. So still pretty good movement with these armor pieces because the armor is quite small. Only this one seems to collide with that torso there. Alright. Now these are interesting. I thought they were going to be like kneecap things, but no, they're forearm guards. So yeah, go on the forearm. But I am curious if it'll go on the back of the leg here. It actually will. Not perfectly though, but it will go there. So that's interesting, but it's obviously going to limit the leg bending backwards. Okay, I wish that peg was a little longer. It doesn't want to stay in the leg too much. But it stays in the forearms quite well. And you still have a hole to mate other stuff to that. So, let's see if we can get this sword on there. Yeah, look at that. Pretty neat. Alright, so now you got this C-clip thing here with it's like a wing with 3 holes. You do have this thing, but you have 2 identical ones of these, so I'm pretty sure you gotta use these if you want the thing to look symmetric, that is. I mean, you could use the white one as well. So if we have 2 holes here, now we got some wings, shields, whatever you want to call them. So that's neat. Yeah, very cool. Rotate those around maybe. Or rotate the whole backpack. There you go. Right, so now I can soar through the air. And then you also have these. You could mount these in any of these holes, obviously. And then anything with a peg will go into those. Alright, different type of weapon there. But this white one, hold on. Since these are like available C-clips on this body, anything with a hole, like this wing thing, you know, you can holster it. Yeah, a lot of the weapons, like the guns, have holes in them, so you can holster those. Yeah, that looks a little weird, but alright, so that seems it. It's very tall, tall and slender. Okay. So you can also put this thing on backwards like that, and it doesn't hinder movement. Although it does remind me to put on those shoulder pads. So this thing hinges, of course. That pops around that post, and that can cover the shoulder. But within it, it has this pivoting thing as well, and that has a hole in it too. They're pretty much the same, left and right. If you're so inclined, you could have, you know, just one shoulder covered, like a knight, and, you know, pop this one in so it looks more normal, less gappy. Yeah, so now it's colliding. This was colliding with that probably, so I better put this forward. The only issue with putting this forward, as you can see, is the handle of the sword is pretty long. So it's going to end up butting up against this purple shield thing, if not push the shield off the forearm. Of course, you could just rotate the hand to avoid it entirely. Like that. Alright, so that's pretty much everything I can get on there. You still have these extra bits here. Here, I got her in her funky dancing pose. Anyways, it's a interesting character. I feel like it's actually difficult to pose compared to some of the chunkier ones. Even though it's really limber, I don't know, though. For some reason, the polycaps and the joints just aren't staying tight. Or maybe some of them are too tight and some are too loose and things just fall apart. Alright, well, anyways, that's it for today's 30-minute missions, and we'll see you the next time around. Thanks.